Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Leaflet operation leads to surrender of Moro extremists in Maguindanao del Sur. Philippine Army identifies rebel leader as gunman in Negros farmer killing. DSWD says food aid extended to Mayon affected families reaches 12.8 million pesos. Natural gas find at Malampaya East 1 bolsters energy security and price stability.
A pleasant day to all our viewers, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo. Today is Thursday, January 22, 2026, and this is AFP Community News, your trusted source for updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. In behalf of Prof. Susan Abay, I am Erica Samadan, here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
A Moro extremist surrendered to the army this week after a leaflet-dropping operation in Maguindanao del Sur yesterday. Military officials said that the Salagyaman Giamadel turned himself in along with M16 rifle to the 601st Infantry Brigade and received by brigade and local leaders. Recently, the Philippine Air Force conducted the non-combat leaflet mission to urge the militants to abandon violence and accept the government peace efforts. In a related disarmament effort, residents and officials in Dato Angal Midtimbang turned over 8 high-powered firearms to support community peace and security.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Army identified Communist rebel remnant leader as the gunman in the killing of a farmer in Victoria City, Negros Occidental. Authorities said CCTV footage confirmed Rogel Fabillar, alias Arnel Tapang, shot John He Montoya while the victim was kneeling at a covered court in Barangay Gawahon on April 2 last year. The New People's Army's Rosalind Jean Pellier command later claimed that responsibility for the killing. Fabillar, linked to the multiple murders in northern Negros, carries 1 million bounty for his arrest.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCOM, let us hear some information from Joanne. 7th IDPA brings aid to Gidas in Aurora. Joanne?
The 7th Infantry Cognite Division distributed 381 food packs to residents of geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas in Barangay Umiray, Dingalan, Aurora, covering Sitio Singawan, Sitio Pinaypayan, Sitio Dugyan, and Sitio Kamandag. This initiative follows the successful dismantling of the Komiteng Rehiyon Gitnang Luzon and formed part of the division's continuing efforts to promote peace, stability, and development in communities previously affected by insurgency. The outreach aimed to provide immediate assistance to families while strengthening the partnership among the military, local government units, and civilians. It also served as a concrete step in sustaining the gains of internal security operations by addressing basic needs and fostering trust and confidence in government institutions. Aside from the distribution of food packs, residents also benefited from informative lectures on anti-terrorism law, the situation in the West Philippine Sea, and the deceptive tactics used by the New People's Army. Residents expressed their gratitude for the assistance, saying the food packs were a big help to their families, especially those living in remote areas with limited access to basic services. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 17th Infantry Battalion assisted a former communist terrorist group auxiliary in the voluntary surrender of firearms in Lasam, Cagayan. Through its modified community support and sustainment team, the unit recovered pistols, a revolver, and a homemade shotguns from a former rebel contact in Barangay Sicalao. The Army said sustained dialogue, community participation, and confidence-building efforts led to the surrender. Officials said the initiative strengthens local peace, security, and community in the area.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Army opened the officer pre-deployment course for 166 newly commissioned officers at Headquarters Philippine Army in Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City. The program includes 324 officer candidate course graduates, one foreign graduate from the Australian Defence Force Academy, and 141 new officers commissioned under RA 2334. Participants will undergo unit-based training to strengthen their knowledge and familiarize them with operational roles. The course supports the Army's Human Capital Development Trust by preparing officers for effective field deployment.
Armed Forces Radio.
Now some information from Mike about CTG Logistics supporters surrenders to Army in Northern Samar.
A community service group member who supplied firearms, ammunition, and food to insurgents voluntarily surrendered to the 20th Infantry Battalion in Las Navas, Northern Samar. The surrenderer turned over an M16 rifle with ammunition and other war material after realizing the futility of armed struggle. The 803rd Infantry Brigade said dialogue and cooperation at the grassroots level played a key role in the surrender. The 8th Infantry Division urged remaining CTG members to abandon violence and return to the fold of the law as peace efforts continued. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines dismissed resurfaced allegations against AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. as false and misleading. The AFP said claims of honor code violations and supposed 15 billion ghost projects have no factual basis. It clarified that the cited amount refers to the TICAS program, which the Department of Public Works and Highways exclusively manages, with no funds passing through the AFP. The military urged the public to remain vigilant, verify information, and rely only on official and credible sources.
DWDD National News.
The delivery of humanitarian aid remains the top priority of the Department of Social Welfare and Development as it continues to support Albay residents directly affected by the ongoing unrest of Mayon volcano. DSWD Assistant Secretary Irene said that the agency has already provided a total of 12.8 million worth of humanitarian assistance to affected areas in the Bicol region as of January 21. Dumlao added that the DSWD continues to monitor the situation. She emphasized that the delivery of aid to families in and out of evacuation centers remain uninterrupted, and the agency ensures that all of them have ample food, sleeping quarters, and other support.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Shaira about AFP Chief Host Dutch Ambassador reaffirms defense partnership. Shaira?
Yes, good afternoon. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. received Netherlands Ambassador Maria Alfonso Magdalena Gerides during a courtesy call at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Bronner thanked the Netherlands for its strong support in defense cooperation and maritime security and cited its role in upholding a rules-based international order. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment in deepening bilateral ties through sustained military and diplomatic engagement. The meeting highlighted shared efforts to promote regional peace, security, and prosperity. This is Shari Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaira.
DWDD National News.
Face masks are becoming essential and new for some residents in Albay who have experienced an ashfall event from Mayon volcano. In some areas, residents use their umbrellas to shield themselves from the volcanic ash as they walk on the streets. Fivox said 10 traces of ashfall were reported in Legazpi City and Daraga town following the Uson and rockfall. Barangays have constantly warned residents to remain indoors when possible to wear face masks.
DWDD National News.
Senator Pia Cayetano said the discovery of natural gas at Malampaya East 1 is a significant boost to the country's energy security. She cited its potential to help stabilize power supply and moderate prices over the long term. Cayetano noted that strengthening indigenous sources of natural gas also reduces the country's exposure to volatile global fuel prices. The lawmaker also pointed to recent policy reforms, including the Philippine Natural Gas Industry Development Act, which she authored, saying the law provides a clear framework for the orderly development of the country's natural gas industry and supports long-term energy security goals.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Shaina about 10 ID strengthens media partnership with Tropa.
The 10th Infantry Division welcomed officers and members of the Tri-Media Organization for Peace and Alliance in Mindanao Incorporation during a courtesy call on Major General Alvin Luzon at Camp General Manuel T. Yan Sr. in Davao de Oro. The visit highlighted the division's strong partnership with media groups in promoting peace, security, and informed public discourse. Tropa reaffirmed its support for information campaigns that help achieve insurgency-free areas and counter misinformation across Mindanao. Major General Luzon thanked Tropa for its continued role in strengthening community resilience and supporting the Army's security and external defense missions. This is Shaina Araneta reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaina.
DWDD National News.
Police forces in Albay were instructed to ensure that the permanent danger zones of the Mayon volcano will remain off-limits to both local residents and thrill-seeking tourists. Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio C. Nartates Jr. said, experts are still warning of the danger of the volcanic activity. Nartates added that the personnel in Albay are in constant coordination with the local government units on matters pertaining to the safety of and assistance to affected residents. He then called on all residents to follow the advisories of authorities and stay clear of the 6-kilometer permanent danger zones.
DWDD National News.
Executive Secretary Ralph Recto met with leaders of local government leagues. This aims to strengthen coordination on the timely, transparent, and accountable use of funds under the 2026 national budget. Recto said the meeting carries out President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to truly make local government units not as mere recipients but active partners in utilizing the country's financial resources. The recently signed General Appropriation Act for 2026 provides 1.4 trillion in downloadable funds for provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays, covering internal revenue allotments and local infrastructure support and special purpose funds.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more about Mel Joy of 1st CRG about 502nd Brigade hosts former Rebel Summit in Isabela. Mel Joy?
Yes, good afternoon. The 502nd Infantry Liberator Brigade facilitated the Milestone 3 of the former Rebel Summit with the theme Balik Loob, Bagong Pag-asa held at its headquarters, Barangay Suyong, Itiague, Isabela. 60 former rebels leader participated from across the Cagayan Valley, representing the provinces of Cagayan, Isabela, Quirino, and Nueva Vizcaya. The summit focused on strengthening the livelihood projects of the former rebels through collective planning and cooperation. During the activity, lecture on the fundamental principles of cooperatives and livelihood development of the Provincial Cooperative Livelihood and Enterprises Development Office was presented, which provide attendees with foundational knowledge for enterprise building. Knowledge and skills gained from this summit are designed to serve as a guide in building resilient, organized, and sustainable socio-economic projects. These ventures are envisioned to benefit not only the members of the CAPIA, but also their wider communities, fostering local economic development. The activity concluded with a shared hope that Milestone 3 would be meaningful and successful, serving as the foundation for a stronger, larger, and more resilient CAPIA cooperative, ultimately contributing to a more peaceful Cagayan Valley region. This is Meljo Inesio Oroc reporting for AFP Community News. 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD National News.
The Government Service Insurance System, in partnership with the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, has opened application for a new scholarship program. This aimed at equipping unemployed dependents of GSIS members and pensioners. The GSIS explained the scholarship program would offer a total of 75 training slots, with 25 slots each allocated to the pilot areas covered by the GSIS branch offices in Legazpi, Cebu, and Davao. GSIS President and General Manager Vic Veloso added, this scholarship opens doors for the dependents to gain useful skills, earn with dignity, and build a more secure future.
DWDD National News.
Philippine National Police Acting Chief Police Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said that unfounded allegations against the PNP will not derail efforts to locate fugitive businessman Atong Ang. Nartates said they will verify the information and immediately take action as part of our efforts to sustain the trust and confidence of the Filipino people to their police force. He also maintained that despite such allegations, the PNP remains focused on doing its duty. Nartates further dismissed claims that the police are withholding information about Ang's whereabouts in order to claim the 10 million peso reward offered for his arrest.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our reporter on the ground, let us hear the report of Jimboy about 73rd IB strengthens ties with Davao Occidental Government. Jimboy?
The 73rd Infantry Battalion conducted a courtesy call on the provincial government of Davao Occidental yesterday to strengthen coordination on peace and security effort. Lieutenant Colonel Julius B. Tanesa led the battalion delegation, which Governor Franklin Bautista received at the provincial capital in Malita. Both sides reaffirmed their strong partnership in advancing peace initiative, community development, and responsive governance. The engagement highlighted their shared commitment to long-term stability, safety, and progress in the province. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
Former Philippine National Police Chief Police General Nicolas Torre III has officially retired from the country's police force. Based on a general order released by the National Police Commission, Torre's optional retirement became effective on December 26, 2025. In December, Torre was named as General Manager of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. With Torre's new role in the MMDA, Napolcom said he has ipso facto resigned from the police force.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Tourism is leaving to lawmakers the decision on whether to scrap the travel tax imposed on Filipinos departing overseas. DOT Secretary Cristina Frasco said that they understand the recent concerns on travel taxes, that they leave it to the wisdom of the legislature whether or not to remove this imposition. However, Frasco said that if the travel tax is removed, lawmakers must identify alternative funding to sustain tourism infrastructure programs. She noted that the Philippines currently ranked 69th out of 117 economies in tourism infrastructure's development, and the country has a lot more to catch up on.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Gina, updates about community dialogue leads to mortar surrender in Sulu. Gina?
Erica, a face-to-face dialogue in Barangay Niangkaan, Omar Sulu yesterday led to the voluntary surrender of one 6mm mortar, boosting local peace and security efforts. The 101st Infantry Battalion, working with barangay officials, spearheaded the activity through support Omar's declaration as a gun-free municipality. Authorities formally turned over the surrendered war material to the battalion for documentation and safekeeping. Military leaders said the surrender reflects growing community trust and the effectiveness of dialogue-driven, people-centered security initiatives. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the granting of incentives to Filipino athletes who won medals at the 33rd Southeast Asian or SEA Games in Thailand. During the parangal at pasasalamat sa mga bayaning atleta ceremony held at the Foro de Intramuros in Manila, Marcos hailed the athletes' discipline, sacrifice, and contribution to nation building. PBBM also announced the palace-funded cash rewards that effectively double the incentives mandated under Republic Act 10699. Under the incentive program, the Office of the President will match the cash incentives provided under RA 10699, granting 300,000 for gold medalists, 150,000 for silver, and 60,000 for bronze.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
That concludes today's broadcast. Thank you for your continued support, particularly to our viewers on AFP Radio, DWDD's official Facebook page. Join us again tomorrow for more stories and updates. Same time, same station. Once again, this is Erica Samadan for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.